My name is Adeyinka Adegbenro. I'm a software engineer and I'm a deaf person living in Lagos. How does it feel like to be a deaf person in Lagos? It's tough and challenging. One of my major problems with being a deaf person in Nigeria is, commuting in Lagos, trying to move around. So if I try to get into a bus or something and it's rush hour, it's usually tough because there's always like a rush, especially if I don't know where I'm going to. And so let's say I'm going somewhere I've never been to before, and I'm trying to okay, and I know this is designated bus stop where I'm to get the bus. So the way the conductor's talk in Nigeria is not exactly it's not exactly clear. So when they say something and I don't hear, and I have to ask are you going to where are you going, before I ask, everybody has rushed the bus and it's already full. So basically it's usually very hard for me to get where I'm going to on time unless I already know that okay, this is exactly the only bus, this is exactly the only place where I will find this destination. But if there are so many destinations around the bus stop, I'm not going to, it's going to be harder. Another problem is when I go to visit them, if I try to use Uber or Bolt to lessen the stress, the Uber drivers always want to make phone calls and try to okay. Usually I'll prefer text, where are you? Are you there? They want to ask questions like where are you? And where, how can I find your street? Blah blah blah, stuff like that. But I usually have to find someone, usually people I don't know, to help me communicate to the driver and tell them, because this is where I am, come and pick me here. And so it's usually difficult. So that is why I don't stay out late at night. I usually make sure I get to before 9 or 8 at least, before it's dark, because I need daylight to be able to communicate with people and get what they're saying. So one other thing is working as a pedestrian in Lagos. Well, there's a chance of getting hit by car or bikes or marua or anything, because Lagos is rough and unruly. So even if you are on a one-way road, there's a chance that a car is coming behind you. If you are facing traffic, there's a chance that a car is facing the wrong direction. And so I always have to look back and left, right, to make sure that nobody's trying to hit me or anything. TVs are not subtitled. TV stations should have subtitles. In foreign countries, there's always option for caption in videos or educational materials. So I can't watch TV. I'm stuck with Netflix because of the subtitles, or YouTube with caption. So one of the challenges that I encountered during pandemic was normally I don't know sign language, so how I communicate by looking at people's mouths, by reading their lips, and the mask is very necessary, of course, but it has made it very hard for me to listen to people because their mouths are now covered, so I can't navigate my environment as I should, the way I would normally navigate my environment. I can't talk to people because everybody's covering their mouths. So if I go to the bank, I usually find it hard to communicate because the banks are usually very strict on the mask thing, and I always feel like I'm wasting their time when I ask them to help me write what they're trying to say. So that's one of the major challenges I've encountered. The mask covers people's lips, and I can't read their lips. One of my most embarrassing moments as a deaf person was the day I entered. One time I entered Marwa. I was going somewhere. Okay, I was on my way to work. I was about to get down from the Marwa. I thought the driver told me that my money dropped on the floor, so I picked the money. I thought the money came down from my body, fell from my purse or something. So I picked the money and kept it in my purse, and I started walking away. Only for me to see someone drag me from my back, and it was the driver, and he was like, "You're just shouting I don't know what he was saying. I sure he was yelling at me." And I was like, what happened? He said that he put his money in my purse. I said, but she told me that I dropped money. And I said, no, that he said that I should help him pick it. That it was his own money. I mean, he thought that I was trying to like scam him or something or take his money. And meanwhile, I actually thought it was my money that dropped in my purse. So it was embarrassing because I felt like a thief. Like, oh, what? Am I a thief? So that was one. I mean, people were looking at me like, what did this girl do? So I had to tell him, look, I'm deaf and everything. But I didn't think he believed me. I thought I was trying to use street for him. How I became deaf, that was in 2015. Actually, the thing is, I think I've always been deaf in 1 year, but I didn't know. I know it sounds weird, but I didn't know because I've never heard for my left ear before. But this sounds silly, but I thought that it was because my left ear is not dominant. You know, the way some people are not able to use their left hand as dominant hand, I thought that was the same thing with my left ear. I thought it was a normal thing that people could not hear with their left ear because I'd never experienced it before. It wasn't until I left boarding school and I saw people, you know, like I tried to use earpiece regularly and I was like, why did you not even put the second ear in earpiece? And people were telling me that they could hear in their left ear and I was like, you can hear in your left ear, really? And that was the first time I knew that something was wrong with me. And I told my parents and they were like, you know what, we got a test. We got a test, but it never materialized until I finished from university. So after I finished my final year exams in FUTA, that's Federal University of Technology, Akure, I fell sick. I don't even know till today. I don't know what happened to me. I just know I had fever. I was growing a tooth, and then I realized that it was not growing normally. The gum was growing larger than the tooth itself, and I think it got infected, and pus was coming out of my gum. And I realized that this place got swollen, very swollen, up to my area, and I was in a lot of pain. So I went to the pharmacy and they just get prescribed antibiotics, and I used that. So I think I was sick for like a week. I had fever, the works, vomiting. I just woke up one day and the next one morning and it was just gone completely. Like no, hear anything again. I mean, I knew something was weird when I didn't hear there was this mosque in my area then that used to call to prayer every morning. But I didn't hear them that morning. And I woke up and I didn't hear anything again. I went to get cotton bud and I started cleaning my ear. I was like, what's wrong? I could see her faintly, like just like a whisper, but it wasn't. I thought something was just blocking my ear. I panicked and I called my parents and they told me to come home, and I went to the them.
I was the one that had to go to the park to pick her from school when she got to Berger. So I was just crying in the bus and people were looking at both of us. She was even the one petting me that everything will be fine and all. So I thought it was, my daddy thought it was measles also that caused, because we didn't really know what happened to her in school.
By the time I got home, by the next day that I went home, everything was gone completely. I just feel like if I had access to subsidized healthcare or something, I would have gone to the hospital immediately. If I had the awareness that I have now, there's a steroid injection that I should have taken, that I had could have reversed my hearing loss within, like, if I had taken it within 24 hours. But I don't have any of that awareness. I didn't even know that. I didn't even have like money to go to the hospital or anything. I just knew I had to get home. My parents to help me. So I got home and we're still dragging our feet. But they took me to the hospital and they didn't even have like equipment to test me or whatever. They had to refer me to another hospital. I didn't have equipment, so they had to refer me to Ministry Hospital in Yaba. That was where I got tested fully, and I was told that I have something called sudden hearing loss. It's actually quite rare, but it's supposed to be permanent, and doesn't really have a cure. There's no cure, known cure yet. But there was better health care in Nigeria. It's possible that I could have reversed this within the first 24 hours when it happened. hearing loss changed my dreams in any way. Um, well, I was a fresh graduate. I studied about regional planning, and I wasn't sure what to do with that. How to move forward in life. Like, how could I possibly get a job with hearing loss? But I decided in a lot of research about careers for people that are deaf like me, and one of the top results for careers for deaf people was information technology, software engineering. So that was how I discovered that software engineering was like a way out for someone like me, because employers didn't care if you are there for whatever disability you have, as long as you can do the job, So that kind of gave me a new purpose. I want people to know that deaf people are just people like them. They are out there everywhere, and there are ordinary people like you and me. They might not meet the expectation of who you think a deaf person should be. Like, people have expectation that a deaf person is usually like maybe a beggar or something, but that's not usually the case. And then when you meet people like that, you should try as much as possible to be accommodating. To try to be patient with them. Try to guide them as much as you can to help them navigate the environment if they're having trouble with that. Because is that enough in Nigeria to navigate the environment and communicate with people?